more results tonight as they come in the race for Maricopa County Sheriff. Jerry Sheridan, 51% of the vote there. Frank Milstead only getting 29%. Sheridan, by the way, he has touted over 40 years experience with the sheriff's office, the former chief deputy. He worked under Arpaio as well, and this is the second time he's running for the office. He was the GOP candidate in 2020, and then he ultimately lost to Penzone, and he is really pulling ahead here with 51% of the vote for sheriff.
Yeah, and Frank Milstead's a known quantity. Ran DPS, ran Mesa Police Department. He was a Phoenix police officer for a long time before that. That is an interesting result. And right now, the incumbent who's sitting in that seat right now is Russ Skinner, a lifelong Republican who switched over to Democrat when they had to fill Paul Penzone's seat. And Skinner switched parties so he could be in the mix for that. But he is trailing Tyler Camp right now by a pretty good margin. That is another bit of a surprise tonight, about 8 percentage points.
Yeah, what else do we have here? Okay, in the race for Maricopa County Attorney, Rachel Mitchell, 59% of the vote there to Gina Godby here's 41%. Rachel Mitchell, by the way, 30 years experience, tough on crime. That's a big question going into this race. A lot of people questioning the handling of the so-called Gilbert goons in Gilbert and all that crime that was happening there, still is. But Rachel Mitchell, she served as, you might remember, the Nominations Investigative Counsel during Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation hearings on a national stage, so many people know her that way. And then Gina Godby here, 25 years experience with the Maricopa County's Attorney's Office, Chief Prosecutor, City of Goodyear.
Yeah, two veterans of that office, and Rachel Mitchell, 32 years prosecuting sex crimes in the County Attorney's Office. But she appears to be cruising in November. Mike Noble joins us now. Boy, good to see you.
Yeah, you've been doing all the polling.
Oh, yeah, I've been doing that and then some all across the country, but definitely no place better than our home state of Arizona.
What's the bottom line tonight, Mike?
Well, the bottom line is that our polling showed basically that the Trump impact, the Trump endorsement is alive and well here in Arizona. And not only that, you've seen some instances like Rachel Mitchell and some others that have kind of staved off these more hard to the right pushes, but you've seen where a lot of those folks were able to kind of push through that were the Trump endorsed candidates. But the Trump endorsement is probably the most valuable endorsement in Republican primaries right now, especially here.
Let's talk about the Senate race. You saw Kari Lake, the projected winner there. Are you surprised by how far ahead she is? Did you think that it would be a wider margin at this point?
I would be if I wasn't able to cheat, quote unquote, with polling. So we put our poll record out just yesterday. We said Lake would be at 50% of the vote. She's at 53 right now. Said Lamb would be at 38%. He's at 41. And Elizabeth Rye is at 6% at 3, which is well within that margin. So we kind of it's going based on the data that we saw when we surveyed Arizona voters. So that Senate race, but I think it's closer than I think people expected, because here's the thing: Mark Lamb had was outraised 5-1 from Kari Lake, so she had significant more resources. Also, she had a lot more name ID. She had about 95% name ID, well-known former statewide nominee, and then he had about 65% name ID. So for only be a 12-point race, I think it kind of shows that she still has some shoring up to do on the Republican base.
And that's what I was going to ask you. In 2022, there were 33,000 Republicans who did not vote for her in that race.
Correct.
This is still a hill to climb for her.
Correct. She still has that same issue to deal with. She needs to consolidate that smaller but moderate wing, that McCain wing.
It's the McCain folks.
Correct. Yeah.
Largely.
Yeah. Correct. It's more the affluent, more moderate, ideological Republicans, and basically she needs to shore that up, but also really repair her image among independent voters. And I think going from a different tact of not talking about the election integrity issues and trying to talk to more kitchen table issues such as housing affordability, inflation, and border security, if she could just stick to those three, I think she'd be in a really good shape with it. But and look no further, Trump's on average polling in Arizona about 5 points ahead of whichever Democrat he's going against right now. Right. But then Lake is on average behind about 6 points roughly. So there's about an 11-point gap between the two. So again, it shows that she has a little more shoring up to do compared to some others on the ticket.
Let's talk about Congressional District 8, because there's 6 candidates running on the GOP side here. There's only 1 Democrat, so everyone's talking about the GOP race here.
Yes.
You had 2 Trump-endorsed candidates.
Yeah.
And Abe Hamadeh is pulling ahead in the race, 30% here to Blake Masters, 23%. They're both endorsed by Trump. And then Ben Toma, Arizona House Speaker, 22%. Are you surprised by this?
Not really, because I think Abe over there had Trump's endorsement first. Blake didn't get his endorsement until a few days ago, but much of the die was already cast, much of the vote was already in.
Exactly.
So you couldn't really change it. And so Abe, and that goes to show the Trump endorsement not only is the most powerful, but especially in multi-candidate fields, when you have a lot of folks running in these clustered primaries, because it'll get you about 30-35% of the vote right off there. So you don't have to have the most money or name ID. That endorsement powerful, and it shows it right here.
And it's one of the most safe Republican districts in the state. This is Debbie Lesko's district.
Yes.
Trent Franks was in there forever. It's a Republican district, so whoever wins that likely will be your congressman.
For a long time.
That is exactly right. Yeah. Mike Noble, Noble Predictive Insights. Great to see you.
Thank you. Stick around.
Yeah, stick around. I don't know if we can hold you here. I know you've got kids at home.
I have 3 young children at home, so it's way past my bedtime, but I will stay just for you all.
Mike, we appreciate it. We do. Thank you.
Okay, before we